Hello. So we had the opportunity, first ever in my life, time to spend Christmas aboard a Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. And so if you are new here, thank you for being here. I am Fenella. I retired in January of 2025. I just turned 53, so I retired when I was 52 years old. And this channel is all about my adventures as a small business owner. I'm a reseller. We travel all the time, but this video specifically is about our travel on Christmas. It actually wasn't on Christmas, but Christmas was on the itinerary on Valiant Lady Virgin Voyages. So I'm going to tell you all about it. So the first thing that I wanted to share, because I know people always like to know, because this is a question we actually asked people that were on board, is, what does your family say about you not being home for Christmas? And so for us, we're a blended family. So we have 6 kids together. They're all adults. We don't have any kids under the age of, well, now 22. Our kids are somewhere between the ages of 22 and 32, and they have their own full lives and all of that. But we do have 3 grandchildren together. I have a granddaughter. My husband has 2 grandkids, so we have 3 grandkids combined. But they also, of course, have parents, and so Christmas is split. So this year, my husband and I decided that we were going to be cruising on Christmas Day. And for us, it was an easy decision because we split our time for Christmas in actually 3 different states, really 2 different states, right? The states that we are from. We actually live in one state, but then we spend a lot of time in these 2 other states, which are the states that we're from. So we decided to go on Christmas because we'd never done it before, and we just really wanted to see what it was like. And we told our family very early before Thanksgiving that we were going to do this, so everybody was on board. And so the the difference between, of course, Christmas on board Virgin Voyages versus any other cruise line is, of course, you have no kids. It was all adults, and it was beautiful, like it always is when you cruise on Virgin Voyages, because kids are not permitted on board. So it was super, super nice. So let's talk about it. So, of course, Virgin Voyages is all adult kids. No formal nights. I'm just taking a look here at my notes. There are premium drinks. Your accommodations are really nice. We always get, at a minimum, the sea terrace, right, where you have a balcony. Sometimes we do Rockstar, but at a minimum we do the sea terrace. But I hear the inside rooms are really nice too, and the rooms with the view of the ocean are really nice too. And so Virgin Voyages also has, of course, no main dining room. You can select your dining up to 60 days prior to your sailing, depending on your tier. And tips are included, even though Virgin Voyages recently changed their tip structure. I mean, I still passed our room steward who cleaned our room all week long, 7 nights. I passed him $100 bill before we left, because that's what we want to do. That's not required, but that's what we want to do. And also, of course, you get Wi-Fi, and there's fitness classes, and it's just really like a yachting vibe. It's not like cruising on Royal Caribbean or Norwegian or Celebrity or Carnival or anything like that. It's very different. It is an entire like relaxed vibe. So that's the other thing. Okay, so while we were on board, I was expecting to see, like, now Virgin Voyages, they don't say a whole lot about decorating doors. They do have something in their guidelines about it, right? And so but it's not, if you decorate your door, like, nobody's going to throw you overboard. And so there are people that do that for anniversaries, for birthdays and all of that, but it's not a lot, because first of all, it's just not that kind of cruise. But I was just expecting for the holiday cruise to, you know, see some people with their doors decorated because, you know, it's a Christmas cruise. I probably saw maybe one door, maybe two, and that's it. So it wasn't, you know, a lot of fanfare when it comes to decorating in the sleeping rooms and the cabin areas, but there were Christmas trees around all of the eating locations. There were Christmas trees on deck 7, which is the entryway in many locations on board, unless you're boarding in Puerto Rico and you're at the Pan America port, then you're going to board from deck 4. But for most locations, it's deck 7 that you are boarding. And so there were beautiful Christmas trees, very well appointed. We actually had an opportunity to cruise just prior to our Christmas cruise, December 5th through the 10th. We were in Bimini and Dominican, and the trees were up, so that was nice. My sister and my mom went with me and my husband, and so it was nice to see the Christmas spirit even as early as December the 10th. So here we are, we get on board December the 20th. We were in Puerto Rico. We went to Puerto Rico 2 days early, stayed at a VRBO, oceanfront. It was beautiful. So we boarded on Saturday, December the 20th. And it was super nice. Of course, we had a sea terrace, and I just made sure that I brought the itinerary so I could talk about the locations that we went to. And so we departed at 8 p.m. on Saturday, December the 20th, out of San Juan. And our day 2 was in Phillipsburg. I think that's Antigua. Is that Antigua or is it Castries? I always get them mixed up. Anyway, and what did we do in Philip? I think we just got off and went to the port, because we've been to all of these locations except for Basseterre St. Kitts. That was the only place that we didn't get a chance to go to. So I'm just going to include a copy of this itinerary in the video so you can see where we went for the holiday cruise. So it was San Juan, day 1, Phillipsburg, day 2, St. Kitts, Basseterre, day 3, St. John, day 4, Castries was day 5, which was Christmas Eve, and then we were at sea on Christmas Day. Then we stopped in Tortola, and then we were back in San Juan on of course day 8, and we got off. So that was the whole itinerary. But you can see if you've ever been on Virgin Voyages, you can see the itinerary. I mean, there wasn't any like super big fanfare because it was Christmas on the itinerary. You know, it was like a regular workday, of course, for the crew. And so it was nice. It was nice. Okay, so the other thing that you need to know about the Christmas cruise is holiday outfits. So on Christmas Day, I was pleasantly surprised to see that a lot of people were in their Christmas pajamas, and they were matching Christmas pajamas. So, you know, on Virgin Voyages, normally on the first night, there is a pajama party that starts 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Normally it's at the athletic club, but if there's weather, they'll move it into the manor. So they had that one. That would have been Saturday, December the 20th. But then on Christmas Day, we had all these stops. And then on Christmas Day, which was day number 6 at sea, people had their matching holiday garb on. And so it was really, really nice to see, you know, because I guess that's what they would have done if they were at home. We didn't do that. We just had, like, in our holiday era t-shirts on. My husband and I, we did have on matching t-shirts, but we didn't do the pajamas. But it was nice. It was nice to see. And it was so hot on Christmas. We were at sea, and of course the bridge found us the warmest weather ever and the sunniest weather ever, which was so super nice to be like hot on Christmas Day. Like, that has never happened for us. And so it was really, really nice. The other thing, like, there was a special Christmas menu and Christmas drinks, but it was like 1 or 2 Christmas drinks and maybe 1 or 2 holiday items. And that actually started again when we were on board back on, it may have started December the 1st, but we were on board December the 5th through the 10th, and that same menu was available. So it was nice. I mean, it kind of got you into the spirit. Also, as far as food goes, like the galley had a special menu on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but the rest of the restaurants just had like that holiday menu that you could look at, you know, and order from. And then also um, the, yeah, just the holiday menu. And then the galley, of course, excuse me, had their whole special thing. Now, one quick tip about the galley is that the galley has very, very good food. My sister was still raving about some salmon she had on the galley on one of those nights that we were on board, December 5th through the 10th. I know their mashed potatoes are, oh my gosh. I am a potato connoisseur, and the mashed potatoes in the galley are delicious. You don't think that, because I think they have, there's something you'll see like a tomato in there. And you know, where I grew up and where I'm from, we don't put tomatoes in our mashed potatoes, but it's like the little cherry tomatoes. Like you'll see one, it's not a bunch of them, but you'll see like one or two in there when you look at the potatoes. And you know, just looking at it, a normal person may say, "Ooh, I don't know about those potatoes. I'm gonna skip over." Don't skip over. Get the potatoes out of the galley. They are delicious. Delicious. So as far as the food goes while on board for the holiday cruise, it wasn't a big change. It was just, everybody was so upbeat. We met a number of Jewish people, of course, who don't celebrate Christmas. They celebrate Hanukkah. And we met a number of solo cruisers who were cruising, you know, by themselves for one reason or another. And it was just lovely. There were a number of sailors from the UK on board. We met a lady from Bali. And so the people that you meet on Virgin Voyages actually helps to make the cruise like even better, right? You meet them and you talk. Like my husband smokes cigars, so we do spend, I don't really smoke. We do spend some time in the smoking area outside up on deck 16, or in the smoking area behind the casino, which is inside. And so we meet some of the crazy, actually not crazy, some of the nicest people. I'll say that because they are all super nice. Like on this particular sailing, this one really blew my hair back. So we met a gentleman who is the Luther Vandross of the UK. And his name is in this phone. Oh my gosh. Super nice guy. He's from the UK. He was there like on his honeymoon. Him and his wife had just gotten married, and we sat next to them in the wake for brunch. And we just, you know, you're sitting kind of close in some of these restaurants, really most of the restaurants. And so it really isn't probably on Virgin's part intentional to get you to conversate and get to know, you know, who you're sitting next to. And so it was so nice to meet them. I think his last name is, oh man, now I'm thinking about his name. I'm going to have to get his name and maybe put it in the comments, but super nice couple. I'm following him on Instagram now because when I tell you he sounds like Luther Vandross, he sounds like Luther Vandross. And we all know Luther Vandross passed some time ago. But this gentleman, even with his accent, still sings like Luther Vandross, and my mother loves Luther Vandross. So that was a special treat. That was, I think we met them, I want to say it was like day 3 on board. We were at brunch at the wake. They sat right next to us. So super nice. So that's the other thing that, again, that happens on Virgin. You meet some very, very nice people. The other thing is of course, Virgin, you never have to dress up. Not one time do you need to dress up. Not going to dinner, you know, not going to any of the restaurants. Now, they don't want you coming into their restaurants like fresh out the pool, right? Because who wants to sit in a wet chair? Absolutely nobody. So like if you're going for brunch or even dinner, early dinner, you know, they do request that you at least be covered and dry, right? I do know that. But as far as putting on an evening gown and, you know, something you bought from Dillard's or Nordstrom or Saks Fifth Avenue. You don't have to do any of that. You can wear what you want to wear on Virgin, which is why we like it. Normally for us, because we have been doing stuff all day long, we're either, if it's a port day, we've been out at the port, and most of the port visits, it doesn't matter what time of year you go. If you're in the Caribbean, it's hot and you're going to be sweating. So by the time it's time for dinner, like, we're ready to take a shower, change our clothes, and put something nice on and go to dinner like that. But that's just but we're not like super dressed up. Like, there's no gowns or anything like that. Just like a refresher, really, to begin to take in the night, right? Because normally after dinner, you know, my husband will go to the casino. I might get a show or listen to some of the vast amounts of live music around the ship. Normally it's down there at the bottom of the stairs, like at the roundabout or at the bar right in there. Lots of live music, but there's live music on the dock. We have sat and listened to a DJ right there on deck 7 at the coffee shop. She played all the hip hop. It was great. So there's always things like that, always places to gather and to just really, really take it in and enjoy your trip, you know, with other adults. So it's really nice. So this Christmas sailing was really, from a perspective of, you know, was it very different than any other sailing? I would say people were in a super, super upbeat mood because it was, I believe, because it was Christmas. It wasn't that different, though, from our sailing December 5th through the 10th, but it was nice. Also, let's see, some of the biggest takeaways that we have for the Christmas sailing is that we're going to do it again. And next year, we're thinking of doing the back-to-back, not just Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but also New Year's, because why not, right? And both of those itineraries for next year are 7 days for the Christmas one and 7 days for the New Year's Day one, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day one. So we're thinking about doing a back-to-back for next year. Virgin Voyages, if you've never cruised them and you want to know, like, how do you dress, or, you know, what do people wear? So I created a Facebook group called Virgin Voyages Fit Check. Show us your outfits, and I'll put it in the comments, and you feel free. I'm not an agent. I'm not going to try and sell you anything, but it's just people who have posted, you know, some of the things that they have worn while on board. Okay. So you feel free to do that. I love to have you join the group. I hear my husband's calling me. Okay, hopefully, I don't know if that went out, but the Virgin Voyages Fit Check, show us your outfits on Virgin Voyages. It's a group on Facebook. Feel free to join if you have any questions or you want to know, you know, what do people wear on board? Check it out. It's a free group. I'm not selling you anything. It is strictly for us to be able to showcase our cute little holiday outfits, our cruise outfits, it's more like yachting, our yachting outfits while on board. Okay. Also, with regard to the Christmas cruise out of San Juan. So San Juan sometimes can be tricky. When I say that, normally embarkation or de-embarkation off of Virgin Voyages can be tricky. The embarkation was beautiful. We actually boarded at the Pan America terminal, which is off by itself. And I've heard people complaining that there's nothing to do there and all you can do is really get in a cab and drive away. Well, Virgin Voyages now has a charter bus that once you come and you drop your luggage off, you know, maybe this is 11 o'clock in the morning before your designated time to get on board, or 12, you can get on the charter bus. They will take you to Old San Juan, and then every 30 minutes, you know, you can get back on from San Juan going back to the cruise port. And once you get back to the cruise port, you can show that you have pre-boarded, you know, you'll have your bracelet, and then you can just get on your board. Your bags are already there. So that part of it, we loved. It was so much better than the times before that we've gotten on in San Juan. So I like the Pan America Pan America port terminal there. Even though it is kind of far removed, it still was nice for us. Well, and then getting off is a little bit tricky because, but not anything that you need to be worried about. And I made a video about this in a Facebook group. So you get off on deck 4, and so there's these ramps. So if you're taking your luggage off because you didn't set it out at night, we never have. You just have to beware, right? Because it's not steep, but it's deck 4, and it's just a little bit of a decline, right? And so just be aware of that. So overall, I rate the Christmas cruise 9 out of 10, and the only reason why I rated a 9 is because the rest of our family wasn't there, right? Because we have some little kids, my nieces, my nephews, you know, our 3 grandchildren who are not of age to go on Virgin Voyage. So the 9 instead of the 10 has nothing to do with Virgin Voyages, but our own personal situation. And we are going to do it again this year in 2026. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you, just for reference. And I'm going to make some more Virgin Voyages video content. This coming, and we're going again in February. We've been going in February since 2022, every year in February since 2022. This will make our 15th cruise on Virgin Voyages. So we cruise a lot on Virgin Voyages, whether it's Scarlet Lady. Mostly we do Valiant Lady. We've been on that one the most, but we've been on Resilient. We're getting on Brilliant in February. That will be our first time. And of course, we've done Scarlet a handful of times. So we're super excited about Virgin Voyages. We love, again, the whole cruising and just like laid backness of it all. And so I'll be making some more videos, probably 20 minutes, because I want to get my viewer time up so that I can get, you know, more benefits on YouTube. And so I just really appreciate you watching. And again, I'm Fenella. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.